everybody. Welcome back to New York Talk. This is the Scout Report. This time to look ahead to our next opponent. This time it is home time, back at home, with Northampton Town coming to give us what will I'm sure will be a stern test. We have Danny joining us from It's All Cobblers to me. How are you doing, Danny?
Mate, you're right. Yeah, well, good. Thank you. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you again. There's only one place to start with you guys at the minute, and that's the managerial situation. Just talk everybody who doesn't know Northampton, kind of what's happened over the last couple of weeks and kind of where things stand.
Yeah, so John Brady handed in his resignation last week. He's been with the club since we were last in League One. So we had the joys of Keith Curle last time we were in League One. He got sacked sort of around February, March time, I think, of that season when we went down. John couldn't quite save us, but he started to really implement some sense of a plan. So he stuck with us for League Two. Took a couple of attempts, but got us up from League Two in, a lot of emotions gone on with all 2 seasons of that. You probably all know the story of the Bristol Rovers final day of the season. So coming back from that, not easy to come back from that. To then go for it again and finish in the top 3 and get promoted to League One. First season in League One went really well last season. Had a solid mid-table season. Some great results, some great moments along the way. Had a reasonable start to this season, again, sort of flirting with relegation, but I think we all kind of thought this season in League One it would be like that. We've got major guns coming from both sides of, from coming down from the Championship, coming up from League Two, a lot of money coming into the league. And we thought, survival again will be the way forward. Again, he's been up and down, but he's pulled off some cracking results. We went to Huddersfield to win 3-1. Got a point at Birmingham, completely out of the blue in the last minute. It's an injury time equaliser there. Had a couple of draws and then lost to Wigan and then lost to Stevenage. And it was the Stevenage one seemed to be the one that really got to him. We've had so many injuries. We've had constant theme over the last couple of seasons has been injuries with us. Then had Tom Eaves, we might talk about a little bit later on. He got sent off at Stevenage for a stupid second yellow card. It felt like from the outside that things were just getting a little bit too much for him. He was someone who I believe just put every ounce of his being into the job for the last 3.5 years. And I feel like it just got a little bit too much personally for him. So the board accepted the resignation. Unfortunately for us, I mean, his job and his role with us had so many, like I said, so many emotions back on it. He's come through the academy, like he managed locally. He knows the community, knows the area. He galvanized everybody after Keith Curle left, brought the fans and the team really close together, did so much good stuff, really connected to the fan base. So his departure left a lot of emotions. So we're still, in the midst of processing that, but we did the best thing we could possibly do on Monday night and went and beat Peterborough in the derby. And I think that felt like a bit like, right, we can move on now. What a moment that was. And, but all the best to John because he did a fantastic job with us. And now we're just kind of thinking, what's next at the minute.
Yeah, you mentioned Peterborough. It's always funny when Peterborough lose. I enjoyed that.
Always.
Like I said, what is next? Is there any kind of names linked? Is it going to maybe another internal appointment? Is there anything coming out of the club at the minute?
Yeah, I mean, possibly. There's not a lot coming out of the club itself. Ian Sampson took charge of the derby, which was absolutely perfect on Monday night. He's got, he played 450 games for us pretty much. Managed us once in League Two, got us the win at Anfield in the League Cup. He's been part of the backroom staff again for quite a few years now. So he's inevitably linked. I'm not sure how much he wants it. So that might depend on whether he wants it or not, as to whether, whether that progresses. One of the names that keeps getting mentioned is Andy Woodman at Bromley. And again, somebody who some of your fans might remember from playing for us, was a goalkeeper for us. Obviously, he's done some fantastic things with Bromley as well. Got them to cup final, got them promoted to the league. Larger than life character. I'm trying to think of any other larger than life characters, but I can't think of one off the top of my head. But very much in the mold of, he will again bring the club. He will be one that I think would bring the fan base completely on board straight away because he's such a character. So he's been mentioned. The Andy Peaks, the Tamworth manager, who's gotten through to the FA Cup third round. Another local lad born in Northampton. He's been mentioned a little bit, but other than that, you want someone who's not just a journeyman at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You want someone who's not just off the merry-go-round. So someone like Woodman or Peaks potentially would be good. I think there was some wild speculation that it might be Mark Robbins, but that's been, he's going to go to Millwall now, I think, isn't he? So that's going to be off the table. I think that was all pie in the sky anyway. But you get nonsense rumours, don't you, on social media? You had the likes of Robbie Savage has been mentioned. And you like just stop looking at social media. Just stop it.
Yeah. When Paul Warren left us, there were some fans that were genuinely saying, "Well, just go get Sean Dyche. We're Rotherham in the Championship."
It's mad. Yeah.
Just to talk about, you mentioned pre-season expectations. It's a second season, which is difficult sometimes.
Most of the time,
is it? And like I said, it's a very competitive. I'm not sure the quality is there this year, but it's a very, very competitive league. There's a lot of teams similar levels. Is it just stabilise and stay up again, or are you looking up a little bit further yet?
Yeah, no, the job is definitely to stay up first and foremost again. We all said at the start of the season, you've got the likes of Birmingham coming down, Wrexham coming up, even Stockport coming up with a little bit behind them. Didn't plan for Wickham and what they're doing, but still the likes of Bolton and Tranmere and Charlton in the league. Yourselves as well coming down and putting a lot into the squad. You've signed some quality players. So we always knew it was going to be a bit of a struggle. And I think, to me, we had a buffer of teams last season below us, between us and the bottom four, that just aren't there anymore. I don't think this season in terms of quality. So yeah, definitely staying up is first and foremost, and especially now. I think we've got a little bit of instability again.
Yeah. Before we come into your players, I've got to ask about Sean McWilliams. We talked about him on your show a minute ago when I kind of said he's struggling. When Sean McWilliams is good, when he's on it, what does he do? What does he bring to a team when a manager gets the best out of him?
Energy when he wants to. He struck me towards the end of his time here. I think that it was getting a little bit too much, comforting. That it was he'd been here for too long, essentially, I think. And I think the change probably should have done him some good. I mean, it sounds like it might not have done too much yet. It felt like, he was too much in his comfort zone here. He was plodding along a little bit at times. And, sometimes he will just drift through games. But when he's on it, he will affect games like no one else. And obviously he's got that local connection, came through our youth team. So he's got that passion for it. And I just sometimes felt like he needed a change. And I was thinking it was going to happen with Steve Evans. I thought he was a perfect Steve Evans player. I thought he'd go in there and, he's a proper tackler. He'll be all action kind of thing. But it doesn't seem like he's got quite there yet with him.
Hopefully he'll get there. Hopefully. Couple of players that you've got from that used to play for us. Tariq Fosu signed in the summer. I was surprised. Yeah. Has he played much? It was good for us in the championship. Really good for us in the championship.
Yeah, it's quality. I mean, the first game he came on against Exeter at home, and we were like, "Who is this? And why on earth is he playing for us?" Because he just came on and took the game by the ball by the horns. Showed like skills that we've not seen for years from players, dribbling, passing, close control, that kind of thing. We're like, "Who is this player?" Since then, he's just been hit and miss, really. Scored a couple of goals. When I think he needs a certain type of team to play against, from what I can tell. Like the gritty Tuesday night away games that maybe is going to be a bit more of a scrap. You don't play him in. We didn't play him in the derby, and I think that was, we came off the bench, but he didn't start. I think that's a perfect example. He needs a bit of space to work, and if he's got that, he'll do brilliant things with the ball, and there's clearly something in there. But I just think when it comes down to a scrap, which we're in at the minute, is probably not the one you want on the team sheet straight away. If he comes on and tries to change a game, maybe, then yes, but maybe not from the start. But quality player. It's definitely got something in there. Yeah,
he seems like one of those players that will probably is better high up. He should be good, but it's just too hectic at League One and League Two, maybe for him. Maybe
I think that's spot on. Actually, I think ironically, if he's playing a championship team, he probably performs really well because he's just given a little bit more freedom to go and do his thing.
Tom Eaves slightly mentioned he got sent off for you a few weeks ago. But other than getting sent off, he's a pretty popular guy. I'll get a decent reception if he comes on Saturday. How has it gone so far for Tom Eaves down there?
Yeah, I was really excited when we signed him. I thought he's just such a throwback. I love a big striker who's going to put himself about a bit. Obviously got a really decent goal scoring record at this level as well. Seems a really good character. Didn't play at the start of the season. We've found out about an hour or two before the start of the season that he's done something. He got injured, which is typical of us. So it took him a little bit of time to get into the team, but he's been in and out. But you can tell what we were trying to do with him, and I think him being out affected us quite a lot because you could tell that he was like the main idea as a striker for us, and we needed everything to move around him. So with him out, it started to go wrong a little bit. I mean, the tackle against Stevenage was ridiculous, and he annoyed a lot of people with that because he was already on a booking. He got booked within about 40 seconds for getting involved with Pierre Gianni, which Pierre Gianni will do to you. Pierre Gianni just threw himself on the floor without getting touched. Eaves got booked, but having done that, you shouldn't really go into a tackle like he did. It was like really, really silly tackle. So hopefully he comes into this one. I mean, I think he'll be in the squad, but hopefully he comes in with a bit of a point to prove to the fans and trying to make up for it a little bit.
I think he'll have a point to prove to Mr. Evans. I think is where it'll go.
Yeah, we were saying before, weren't we? We were like, he's such a typical Steve Evans player. I'm surprised he didn't keep him.
Yeah, I am. I think this point a lot of fans he didn't stay, Sam, but we've got Jordan Hugel instead. Yay. Just talk us to what to expect from you guys. Obviously, it's a caretaker manager at the minute. So is it difficult to say, or has it been a continuation of what it was before in this one game?
I mean, playing wise, it was pretty similar. There was a little bit more of a press on Monday night than we were used to. That was the one thing we all noticed, that the likes of Oddy Mayo at right back were pushing on quite a lot. There was a lot of pressing going on, way more than under John Brady. In terms of personnel, we can't change it too much just because of injuries at the moment. So we had the likes of Sammy Shushain, who was dropping back a little bit deeper than he would usually. He was just on a man-to-man job with Randall of Peterborough, who can just dictate games. So he did a really good job on him and probably one of his best games for us. But other than that, it'll be fairly similar to what we've been used to under Brady, just literally because we don't have any more players left.
Fair enough. Is there any players to watch out for if you're going to have a good game? Who are the stars that are going to hurt us if you're going to have a good afternoon?
Yeah, if he gets space, and again, he falls into a little bit of the Fosu area, but Tyler Roberts, who we signed in the summer on a season long for Birmingham, he's got quality that in a moment he set up the goal, the winner on Monday night. I don't think he needs a goal, but he hasn't scored yet. So maybe for him, it'll be good for him to score, but he's got the quality. If he can play in that number 10 role and really unlock things and really make things happen, he's one to watch. Cam McGeehan's the top scorer. He's signed from Colchester in the summer. He's taken to League One really well. One of these players who just pops up at the right time. In that kind of more advanced role, he's just got that knack of popping up out of nowhere to score goals. He's pretty decent. We signed Nesta Guinness-Walker on a free transfer a couple of months ago because 3 of our left backs got injured in the first couple of months of the season. We just kept losing left backs. And so we signed Guinness-Walker, and he's ironically been our best player and our best left back in the squad. So plucked out of nowhere sometimes happens. So I mean, happy to keep him in there. And obviously you got Big John Guthrie at the back. He's got so much experience and leads so well. I don't know where we'd be without him. Honestly, he's brilliant.
Interesting. So if I know your score prediction, but just talk me through how your game's going to go through and how you think the game's going to go through on Saturday and what your score prediction would be.
Yeah, it's difficult to tell still, I think, with we've only got one game to look back on under Sampson so far. I assume we're not going to name a new manager before the weekend. If we do, it might well be him himself. So we will see what happens there. I'd expect just to scrap, just to try and make it a little bit ugly, maybe, because we know what quality you've got in the forward areas, especially, that you can exploit us. So I potentially see us trying to not shut up shop, but just make it a little bit more ugly and making it a scrap and really working hard and pressing you when we can into mistakes. But yeah, again, without an away game to really go on, it's difficult to tell. But yeah, just hard working, I think, at the moment, and trying to force mistakes and trying to get as many results as we can.
And what would your score prediction be as well for Saturday?
I said 2-2 on our pod. I think it's a little bit ambitious, but I'm going to stick with it for this one as well. I'll go 2-2. You can see goals, yeah.
And just for information, if anyone wants to check out some Northampton stuff or preview, whatever, where can guys find you guys?
Yeah, so we're at Cobblers to me on all the social media. We do preview show with yourself, which will be out on Friday. We do a review pod on Monday as well, and then we do midweek reviews of the midweek games. So busy, but yeah, all good. So that's at Cobblers to me everywhere you get your socials.
Top stuff, and we'll put the links as well in the show notes.
Yeah, nice one.
Thank you very much, Danny. Thank you,
Cheers.
everybody who has been with us tonight. Make sure you have subscribed and like the video as well. We'll see you all next time. And as always, up the Millers.